The Divine Smite Sorcadin is one of the strongest builds in Baldur's Gate 3 because of the extremely high damage output thanks to guaranteed critical strikes from a number of spells and conditions and very powerful spells and auras to complement it. The build has great crowd control by casting control spells like Hold Person as a bonus action thanks to Band of the Mystic Scoundrel. The build is also incredibly strong very early on and is perfect for a Tav thanks to the high charisma and strength. To get started, choose Half-Orc Paladin at level 1. Half-Orc is by far the best race because the build is focused on guaranteeing critical hits with Smite. Half-Orcs get a passive feature called Savage Attacks, which causes your critical hits to roll one of the damage dice an additional time and add it as extra damage to the critical hit. What's crazy about this feature is that it also activates again on all other damage sources from that critical hit. That includes it being added to things like Smite and Falaraluv's Shriek, which means in this scenario you'd get 3 additional dice worth of damage added, 1 for each damage source. We'll always have Smite activating on critical hits as a reaction for this bonus damage. And don't worry about overkill, if an enemy would die without the need to smite, it won't cast. Also, if you don't like how half-orcs look, you can use Disguise Self and still keep these racial bonuses. This can even make logical sense to change to Githyanki if you want to use the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane, for example, and you'll get the bonuses from being a Githyanki from the sword, and at the same time keep bonuses from being a half-orc. Half-orcs also get a passive feature called Relentless Endurance, which causes them to regain 1 hit point instead of being downed when reaching 0 hit points. This can actually be very helpful if something unexpectedly terrible happens, like falling off a glitched elevator, and instead of losing your honor run, your half-orc ends up saving your honor run. At level 1, make sure to select Oath of Vengeance as your subclass. Oath of Vengeance paladins get 3 amazing spells from their oath that are always prepared: Vow of Enmity, Misty Step, and Hold Person. All 3 of these spells are great and we'll discuss them more when they're unlocked. For your background, I prefer Soldier for proficiency in athletics and intimidation. This helps a lot if this is your Tav and your dialogue character, allowing you to intimidate your way through conversation. For your ability points, take everything out of dexterity and add them to constitution and charisma. Paladins gain health points equal to 6 plus their constitution modifier per level, so this will add up as you level. It also helps with maintaining concentration, which we'll want. Charisma is really important too for both dialogue and trader prices, but your charisma modifier also increases the number of prepared spells you can have and makes Aura of Protection much more powerful, which grants your allies a bonus to saving throws equal to your charisma modifier. At level 2, you'll unlock a fighting style. Choose Great Weapon Fighting. This allows you to re-roll when you roll a 1 or a 2 on a damage die for an attack with a 2-handed melee weapon. This is especially powerful for a paladin because unlike in 5e, added damage dice from all damage sources get re-rolled, such as Falaraluv's Shriek, Githborn's Psionic Weapon, Helldusk Glove's Infernal Touch, Divine Smite, or even damage coming from a dipped weapon are also all re-rolled, so this is perfect for our build. For your prepared spells, choose Bless, Command, Searing Smite, Thunderous Smite, and Wrathful Smite. These smites can be used situationally against enemies with certain vulnerabilities. At level 3, you'll unlock Vow of Enmity. This class action gives you advantage on attack rolls against the enemy you use it on for 10 turns. However, it is much more powerful if you instead use it on yourself. This gives you advantage on all attack rolls you make on all your attacks for 10 turns instead, which is incredibly powerful, especially since at level 4, our first feat we are choosing is going to be Great Weapon Master, which will give us plus 10 damage to our 2-handed weapon attacks at the cost of -5 to our attack rolls. The -5 to our attack rolls is made irrelevant from our Vow of Enmity granting advantage against all enemies and because of our crowd control spells like Hold Person, which give you a guaranteed critical hit. Great Weapon Master also gives us a bonus attack when we land a critical hit or kill a target with a melee weapon attack, which we can use as a bonus action that turn. Since we're critical strike focused, this is a perfect fit that we'll be utilizing frequently. At level 5, you'll get yet another power spike from extra attack. We can now make 2 attacks per action. With our Great Weapon Master feat, we will now be attacking 3 times per turn. You also unlock 2 of your oath spells, Hold Person and Misty Step. These are always prepared and are both great spells. Hold Person can be used to guarantee critical strikes, and Misty Step can be used for getting to your enemy quickly. I like to prepare Aid, Branding Smite, and Lesser Restoration. You can upcast Aid for a powerful health buff for your whole party, which is great for keeping everyone alive, and Branding Smite is fantastic at stopping an enemy from going invisible like your gear. Lesser Restoration can also be very helpful if blinded or if a teammate is paralyzed, you can help them get their turn back. At level 6, you'll finally unlock Aura of Protection. This aura grants you and nearby allies a bonus to saving throws equal to your charisma modifier. This is a bonus to all saving throws, which is incredible to resist crowd control effects and other hostile spells and actions creatures will take against your party. For example, if you're hit by a fireball but you succeed the save, you'll only take half the damage. Or if hit by Thunder Wave, you won't be pushed back by the spell, which could potentially save your life if you would have been pushed into a chasm. At level 7, we're going to take our first level into Sorcerer, and the rest of our levels will also go into Sorcerer as well. For cantrips, you'll want Friends, Firebolt, and Light. Friends is similar to Guidance, and that we'll be using it a lot during dialogue, but it gives you advantage on the roll, which is really helpful to make sure you succeed. Firebolt can be used to activate resistance to fire, which we'll get into when we talk about subclass, and Light is important to activate bonus damage from Callous Glow Ring for whoever in your party might be using it. For your spells, you'll want to choose Shield and Sleep. Shield can be used as a reaction to increase your armor class by 5 until your next turn. It's incredibly powerful since you're only prompted to use it when you would otherwise get hit. Sleep is powerful as well because attacks against sleeping targets are automatically critical hits. Sleep is also an enchantment spell, which means after you attack, you can cast it as a bonus action thanks to Band of the Mystic Scoundrel. For your subclass, you'll want to choose Draconic Bloodline and Draconic Ancestry Gold. This gives you a large number of benefits. You'll gain Draconic Resilience hit points, granting you +1 hit point for each sorcerer level, and you'll also get access to Disguise Self in case you don't like how Half-Orc looks, or you want to unlock bonuses from gear. You can do that now without needing the Mask of the Shapeshifter from the Digital Deluxe upgrade. And you'll also unlock 2 more amazing bonuses once we get to level 6 for choosing Draconic Bloodline. At level 8, choose False Life. This necromancy spell can be upcasted to grant 27 temporary hit points for free. By equipping the Staff of Cherished Necromancy and slaying anything, you'll get a condition called Life Essence, which you can activate to make your next necromancy spell not cost spell slots. This can be repeated an infinite number of times, essentially letting you reapply this at will for free. For your class passives, take Metamagic Extended Spell and Twinned Spell. Twinned Spell is very powerful for doubling the effects of your spells. This is great on something like Drakethroat Glaive to grant 2 of your party members the bonus to attack rolls and elemental damage, or to twin cast Haste on yourself and an ally, or even potentially using it to cast Hold Person on 2 enemies. At level 9, you'll gain access to Mirror Image. This spell is great for increasing your AC. Each image increases your AC by 3, and you create 3 when cast. That's 9 AC you'll gain, and the best part is that you can cast this as a bonus action after attacking thanks to Band of the Mystic Scoundrel. For your class passive, choose Metamagic Quickened Spell. Quickened Spell can be used to cast Hold Person as a bonus action. If you upcast Hold Person, you can have it target more than one enemy, which lets you get 2 guaranteed critical strikes, which will usually one-shot both of your targets that turn. At level 10, we're going to pick up some utility. Choose Mage Hand for your cantrip and Featherfall for your spell. For your feat, choose Ability Improvement and put both points into Charisma. We want to get our Charisma modifier as high as we can for our aura and for our Draconic Ancestry subclass bonus that we get at level 6 Sorcerer. Strength can be easily increased throughout the game from Elixir of Hill Giant Strength, or even better, Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength. At level 11, we can finally learn Fireball. This spell will be our source of AoE damage, which will become really strong next level. Also, make sure to replace Featherfall with Haste. And finally, at level 12, we will unlock 2 powerful subclass features, Elemental Affinity Damage and Resistance. Elemental Affinity Damage lets you add your Charisma modifier to the damage of a spell you cast that is the type associated with your Draconic Ancestry. Since we chose Fire, our Fireball will be getting our Charisma modifier added to its damage, which makes it monstrously powerful. We'll also be able to activate Elemental Affinity Resistance by casting Firebolt before combat at the cost of a sorcery point to gain resistance to fire damage. And for our final spell, choose Counterspell. This can be very useful to prevent a devastating spell from hitting your team. And next up is how to guarantee critical strikes. Since this build doesn't try to increase critical strike chance at all and instead chooses to guarantee critical strikes, it's important to know all your ways of getting a guaranteed critical strike. Attacking a sleeping target guarantees a critical strike when made in melee range. Sleep can come from other party members from the spell Sleep and can help a lot with the early game before you have access to Hold Person. Sleep can also come from Drow Poison, which can be coded on your weapon or thrown by an ally, or you can even cast an AoE Sleep through Glyph of Warding, which is quite powerful. Attacking a paralyzed target will also guarantee a critical hit. Paralyzation can come from Crawler Mucus, which is a poison that you can coat your weapon with or throw. Hold Monster will also guarantee a critical hit because the target is considered paralyzed, and even ghouls you summon from Dance Macabre have a chance to cause paralysis, so it doesn't hurt to get that spell, especially since with Life Essence it doesn't cost a spell slot. There's also a wild shape form that can synergize with the Oath of Vengeance Paladin. The wolf wild shape has an action called Exposing Bite, which causes the next attack against the target to be a critical hit, which refreshes on short rest. You can also get a guaranteed critical hit from wild magic enchant weapons, which causes all creatures within a radius around the wild magic sorcerer to have their next attack be a critical strike. This is going to be so random though that it's not worth going after in my opinion. There's also a ring called Killer's Sweetheart, which gives you a guaranteed critical hit after you kill a creature, which can be used as a reaction once per long rest, and you can find this at the end of the self-same trial in the Gauntlet of Shar. And last, you'll want the Illithid power Luck of the Far Realms. It lets you turn a successful attack roll into a critical hit, and ideally, you're also going to want to get every single Illithid power possible in order to get some amazing Cull the Weak activations. Once your enemy has 27 HP, even 1 damage can make their mind collapse from Cull the Weak, and this can come from Psionic Backlash as they cast a spell, your Fleshmelter Cloak if they hit you, or Infernal Retribution dealing burning damage from Helldusk armor when you succeed a saving throw, which is actually quite common considering we'll have +6 to all saving throws from Aura of Protection. However, you will want to prioritize getting Luck of the Far Realms first for the guaranteed critical strike before you go after other Illithid powers. And next up is the best in slot gear for this build. The best helm for this build is the Diadem of Arcane Synergy. This circlet grants Arcane Synergy when you inflict a condition, which causes your weapon attacks to deal additional damage equal to your spellcasting ability modifier. That's Charisma. Since we put so many points into Charisma, this is perfect for us, granting us a nearly perpetual +6 damage to all of our attacks, but it will vary depending on how much Charisma you have at the time, and you can find this circlet on Ardent Jezereth in the Inquisitor's Chamber in Kresh Yelik. The best cloak for this build is the Fleshmelter's Cloak. This cloak deals 1d4 acid damage whenever a creature deals melee damage to the wearer, and while this might not seem incredible, it serves 2 important roles. One, it allows you to easily clear large groups of weak monsters who will melee attack you and then destroy themselves, and then later on, once you've acquired all your Illithid powers, your cloak will instantly slay any creature that hits you in melee range with less than 26 HP thanks to Cull the Weak. Cloak of Protection is another fine pick since it grants +1 to saving throws and AC, but I prefer the utility of an aura that deals damage anytime we get hit in melee range, which can activate Cull the Weak. And you can find the Fleshmelter Cloak and a gilded chest in the House of Healing Morgue. And the best armor for this build is Helldusk armor. This armor grants Infernal Retribution. When you succeed a saving throw, the caster receives burning for 3 turns, which deals 1d4 fire damage. This 1d4 fire damage can activate Cull the Weak, instantly slaying the enemy if they are below 26 HP when you have all your Illithid powers. The armor also grants resistance to fire damage, and you cannot be burned, and you take 3 less damage from all sources. And it also gives you the ability to fly, so that's pretty cool. It's an incredible armor and can be looted from Raphael in the House of Hope. Since that's pretty late into the game, the Adamantine Splint armor is another great armor that you can get before you get Helldusk. And the best gloves for this build are the Helldusk gloves. These gloves grant a +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and spell save DC, which is perfect since we're going to be casting Hold Person frequently. It also grants Infernal Touch, granting 1d6 bonus fire damage to weapon attacks. This is an additional damage source, and as such, it will get re-rolled whenever we roll a 1 or a 2 thanks to great weapon fighting, and on a critical hit, we'll gain additional bonus damage thanks to savage attacks. The gloves also grant +1 to strength saving throws, and you can cast Rays of Fire, which gets your Charisma modifier added to the damage thanks to Elemental Affinity from your Draconic ancestry. You can get these gloves from Harlep in the House of Hope. Since that's also pretty late into the game, you could get Gloves of Dexterity first from Ajak Nir Jira in Kresh Yelik. And the best boots for this build are the Helldusk boots. These boots grant Steadfast, making you unable to be forcibly moved by a foe's spells or actions, and you ignore the effects of difficult terrain. You also gain Infernal Evasion when you fail a saving throw, if that would ever happen. You can use your reaction to succeed instead. And when you succeed a saving throw, the caster starts burning for fire damage, which can instantly kill them if they are low enough health. These boots also grant Hellcrawler, which lets you teleport to an area and deal 2d8 fire damage where you land, kind of like a Misty Step, but angrier and more fiery. The best amulet for this build is the Amulet of Greater Health. This sets the wearer's Constitution score to 23 and grants advantage on Constitution saving throws. The additional hit points are great, and more saving throws means more burning damage. If another party member is using this amulet, you can also go for the Fey Semblance amulet, which gives advantage on Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma saving throws. Combine this with your +6 bonus to all saving throws, and it will be very rare that you ever fail a saving throw. This Amulet of Greater Health can be stolen from a pedestal in the Archive of the House of Hope, and the Amulet of Face Semblance can be earned as a reward for completing the quest Avenge the Hag Survivors in Act 3. And the best ring for this build is the Killer's Sweetheart. This ring grants you a guaranteed critical strike as a reaction after you kill a creature. You can activate this once per long rest. This can be found after you complete the self-same trial in the Gauntlet of Shar. Once this activates, you can switch this ring out for Strange Conduit ring, or you can just leave it equipped. For your second ring, you'll want Band of the Mystic Scoundrel. This ring grants Illusion Quickening. After hitting a creature with a weapon attack, you can cast Illusion or enchantment spells as a bonus action. This is amazing for our build because we can swing once, cast Hold Person as a bonus action, and then get a guaranteed critical strike without the help of any party members. You can also upcast Hold Person to target more than one target, but even better, you can cast it on 2 targets with Metamagic Twin Spell at the small cost of 2 sorcery points. And the best melee weapon for this build is Balduran's Giantslayer. On a hit with this weapon, it deals double the damage from your strength modifier and grants advantage on attack rolls against large, huge, or gargantuan creatures. You also gain a class action called Giant Form, which gives you 1d6 additional damage and 27 temporary hit points, along with advantage on strength checks and saving throws. The temporary hit points fade after 10 turns, so remember to reapply your free upcasted False Life using your Life Essence. Another weapon that is also incredibly strong with this build is the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane if you disguise yourself as a Githyanki. The blade grants you an additional 1d4 psychic damage, advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, and resistance to psychic damage along with Cannot Be Charmed. If you like being a Githyanki, this is a great option, otherwise the Balduran's Giantslayer will deal the most damage from Giantslayer. And for your ranged weapon slot, Gontr Mael is the best. It grants a spell called Celestial Haste, which lasts for 5 turns and doesn't cause lethargic when it ends. This is great since we can also twin cast it on 2 allies, and if you ever accidentally cast another concentration spell after this, you won't be instantly stunned from lethargic. You can get Gontr Mael from the Steel Watcher Titan in the Steel Watch Foundry. Before that, another great ranged weapon is the Darkfire Shortbow, which is almost as good. It grants resistance to fire and cold damage and lets you cast haste. You can purchase the Darkfire Shortbow from Dammon in Last Light Inn in Act 2. And that's the build. It's one of the most powerful I've ever played and has a ton of synergy across the board. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe for more Baldur's Gate 3 videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.